I sprang to the stirrup, and Joris and he, I galloped, Dirk galloped, we galloped all three. Good speed, cried the watch as the gate bolts undrew. Speed, echoed the wall to us galloping through. Behind shut the postern, the lights sank to rest, and into the midnight we galloped abreast. Not a word to each other, we kept the great pace, neck by neck, stride by stride, never changing our place. I turned in the saddle and made its girths tight, then shortened each stirrup and set the peak right. Rebuckled the cheek strap, chained slacker the bit, nor galloped less steadily Roland a whit. 'Twas moonset at starting, but while we drew near Locheren, the cocks crew and twilight dawned clear. At Boom a great yellow star came out to see. At Duffeld 'twas morning, as plain as could be, and from Mechelm church steeple we heard the half chime. So Joris broke silence with, "Yet there is time." At Airshot upleaped of a sudden the sun, and against him the cattle stood black, every one, to state through the mist at us galloping past, and I saw my stout galloper Roland at last, with resolute shoulders, each butting away the haze as some bluff river headland did spray, and his low head and crest just one sharp ear bad back for my voice, and the other pricked out on the track, and one eye's black intelligence ever that glance saw its white edge at me, his own master, askance. And the thick heavy spume flakes which I and anon his fierce lips shook upward in galloping on, by Hasselt Dirk groaned, and cried Joris, "Stay spur, your roast galloped bravely, fault's not in her, we'll remember at Aix." For one heard the quick wheeze of her chest, saw the stretched neck and staggering knees, and sunk tail, and the horrible heave of the flank, as down on her haunches she shuddered and sank. So we were left galloping, Joris and I, past Lowes and past Tongres, no cloud in the sky. The broad sun above laughed a pitiless laugh. 'Neath our feet broke the brittle, bright stubble like chaff, till over by Dalham a dome spire sprang white. "And gallop," gasped Joris, "for Aix is in sight. How they'll greet us!" And all in a moment his roan rolled neck and croup over, lay dead as a stone. And there was my Roland to bear the whole weight of the news which alone could save Aix from her fate, with his nostrils like pits full of blood to the brim, and with circles of red for his eye sockets' rim. Then I cast loose my buff-coat, each holster let fall, shook off both my jack-boots, let go belt and all, stood up in the stirrup, leaned, patted his ear, called my Roland his pet name, my horse without peer, clapped my hands, laughed and sang, any noise, bad or good, till at length into Aix Roland galloped and stood. And all I remember is friends flocking round, as I sat with his head twixt my knees on the ground, and no voice but was praising this Roland of mine, as I poured down his throat our last measure of wine, which the burgesses voted by common consent, was no more than his due, who brought good news from Ghent. That was how they brought the good news from Ghent to Aix by Robert Browning, who lived from 1812 to 1889. And this is obviously about a breathless overnight journey. What the news is, nobody really knows, but it made a great dramatic poem.